Ichi, where are you going?
Hi everyone, okay, so today, metaphorically, we're gonna go apartment hunting together. I'm sure most of you guys know, but I moved out to live alone at 22, and this is the apartment that I moved into, and it's been a good like 3 years. Ugh, it's really insane how time flew so fast. I love this apartment, so that's why I've been so reluctant to, let go of it. But I think 3 years for a rental is like quite intense, you know what I mean? I'm also very, very picky, which is why after a year of apartment hunting, I'm still fruitless. Okay, I really want to make sure that I find an even better apartment than this, and it's really, really tough. I kind of want to show you guys like what I've been looking at also, and some tips and tricks on what to look out for, especially when you're going apartment hunting. Right before we get started, I want to say a huge thank you to today's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes, projects, and workshops. You can explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity. There's so many different classes ranging from business to marketing to photography to illustration, even languages. Like, I know a lot of people like don't know this, but they have like language courses as well. And the one that I'm doing right now is an illustration one. I'm actually doing like an entire set of courses from this one creator, Kat Coquillette. It's really easy to follow, it's step by step. You get to create artworks in the process, and she kind of teaches you like how to use things like as you go along. Premium membership gives you access to all of these classes, and they're all ad-free. So it's been really nice. Instead of like completely zoning out to relax, I can kind of like brush up on my creative skills and learn something new. So if you're interested in trying out Skillshare for yourself, I will leave a link down below. You can get a free trial for the first 1,000 people that click that link, and you can, give it a shot, try it out, see if you really like it. So let's get started. I'm gonna be referring to photos on my phone. If you want to rent, you definitely need to go for viewings. It's really annoying. Sometimes it's very last minute, but you just have to show up and you have to look at the place, have to get a vibe check. If the vibe is off, right, there is no saving it. I will be sharing with you guys the area, the condo name if I remember it, and also the general rent. The first and best tip I will give you before you even start scheduling for viewings and stuff like that is to save your own time and to save the other party's time by having an apartment checklist, knowing exactly what you want. So I have something called new apartment checklist. So on this checklist, I have spots like condos and areas that I like, so I have them listed down. And then I have requirements for what I'm looking for in the next apartment. Structurally, I would like a minimum of 2 bedrooms, plenty of sunlight and air, window placements good for filming. So when I go in, I need to be able to see myself being able to film and vlog and stuff in this space, because that's my work, you know what I mean? And then a space for plants outdoors, real ceiling to put a pole. Other stuff include like nice bathrooms, decent water pressure, closet space. So these are things that I feel are non-negotiable. Okay, and other things that are negotiable, if I really like the space, I can kind of do without. It's like a private view, if it's high rise, and then dark or wooden floors. So those are things that I noticed that I really want in an apartment. I'm trying to manifest, and this is also something that you can always refer to when you're at viewings and you're like, oh, I really like this space. And sometimes spaces can be so nice that you genuinely like forget what you want, and you forget that that's not what you're looking for, even though it is really beautiful. So that is my biggest tip, and the reason why I bring this up is because this first listing that I went to was exactly like that. So this first listing is a really beautiful 1-bedroom apartment, ginormous balcony. Okay, it's called Studios at Man, and it's around a 5-minute walk from City Square Mall. They have Don Don Donki, they have Daiso. Yeah, it's just a fun time, honestly, at City Square Mall. I think it's around 800 square feet, which is really big for a 1-bedroom, but most of it is in the balcony, which I will explain later. Going up, right, I noticed there's a lot of roadworks, and this is another thing that I always pay attention to. By principle, every time I view an apartment, I have to go there and come back by public transport, unless I'm like really running late to a listing, which I try not to do, because you are living in that neighborhood and you'll be interacting with that neighborhood every single day pretty much, and you need to make sure that like even if your apartment's really nice, the outside is also conducive to your well-being. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I noticed. I noticed that there was a lot of like, I don't know if they were building like an MRT track extension or something like that. It was very, very loud. It was a lot of drilling. The area just feels very like chaotic at midday already. It's a beautiful apartment, like I said. Okay, you guys are probably like, oh my god, tell me more about this place. Beautifully furnished. I really like the owner. She's very stylish and it said fully furnished. So I thought that's why I wanted like the space, because I was like, I want all of her furniture. Like she had this beautiful like weird blob marble table with like gold legs. Wait, let me look at the space. Oh yeah, dude, I freaking love that rug. That rug with the I want to say jaguar, and then a huge ass mirror which is kind of like in front of the wardrobe. A lot of wardrobe space. There was also an arch which is really beautiful, and as you can tell, like she's really into plants as well. In general, I was really drawn to like the vibe of the space, the furniture in it, but I already knew that I had some concerns, which is the first one, that it feels smaller than my current space. So the reason why I want to move out is because I want a bigger space to grow into, and I'm a big cook. The kitchen was really like, I don't think she cooks lah, she's too stylish to cook. So there wasn't really like much in terms of like appliances. And another one of my requirements is the next place has to have a fully functional oven. And her space was on the second floor, and it has like almost direct access to the pool. But the thing is, right, that's what I was thinking about. I was like, as a single woman, like, do you feel safe? The pool is actually like one flight of stairs higher, half a flight of stairs lah, higher than the apartment. So I was like, what if like people are swimming and then they just like look down and see what you're doing like all the time? So you can't actually see the pool, but the pool people can see you. So those are the two windows that kind of like are at that direction. And I was just like a little bit concerned about privacy, because like I can't imagine someone like, you know, swimming regularly and then realizing that I live alone. I feel like I would be concerned for my own safety. And yeah, this is the bathroom. It's also very pretty, and she did a really good job like renovating it. Everything else is nice. God, I keep looking at that bloody table. But she also said that, you know, even though it is fully furnished, she's taking like some of her favorite furniture out, which is totally understandable. She was removing like all of the furniture that I was excited to have if I were to rent the apartment. So it kind of took, you know, the point away. Thank God I had that checklist, because then I looked at my checklist and I was like, okay, like if you take out the vibes, you know, you take out the plants which are gonna be gone, you take out the nice furniture, you know what, this isn't what I'm looking for. So by the time we got out to the balcony, pretty much like 1/3 the size of the actual house. It extends out. So imagine this is the indoor area, right? This is the outdoor. It kind of is an L, like encompassing the indoor area, and it gets really dusty. Outdoor furniture was also very old. I think she was planning to replace them, but I just like, you can't see what it's really being replaced with. And then I didn't need such a big outdoor space, I think. Even though it is really nice, I would have preferred to have a bigger indoor space. And yeah, I asked, and I think like you could put a pole there. It has a real ceiling, but is there space to pull? You know what I mean? So the asking rent was 2.8k, which was already above my budget. So I should probably say my budget, right? My budget is around, initially my like rental budget was 2 to 2.5 max, right? So this one was asking 2.8, and it was a lot of things that, you know, I felt like I would have to compromise to live someone else's aesthetic and someone else's ideal life. Like, even though it's very beautiful, it's not for me. I also remember that I actually did ask. So this is another tip for you guys. Tip 2. Ooh. There's nothing wrong with asking, what issues have you had with this place? Do you have any problems living here? How are the neighbors? Do you have any disturbances? Stuff like that. Most of the time, people will be very honest, and you will be able to know what you're getting into going in. So I did ask the owner here, like, oh, do you have any problems? Like, do the pool people look at you? There are some like neighbors that are not on her floor that tend to like hang by the pool and make a lot of noise. The management's like sorting that out. But then I was like also thinking, I'm like, do I really want to like take over the place and then continue the confrontation? And I just, yeah, maybe like staying next to the pool was like not the best idea for someone like me lah, who needs like silence on set. So I was like, nah, maybe not. So yeah, that was a really beautiful place that unfortunately was just not for me. Alright, and then literally the next day, there was another listing, and this is quite a different listing, but still in Farrer Park. It's called Sturdy Residences. Again, I went there by public transport. Even though it's supposed to be a short distance, right, I think they like totally like undersold the distance in the listing, because I remember being like 5 minutes walk, what the fuck, it was like nearly 12 minutes, and it was very very difficult to walk because a lot of cars were parked along the sides, and it's kind of near a food spot, so a lot of like delivery men were like weaving in and out. There were a lot of uncles, you know, there was like some cat calling. I just felt very unsafe like being in that space, so I was just like, oh my god, how do I do this like at night? How do I walk my dog? That's why it's so important. You have to like walk there. Another tip that you could consider, especially if you're a single woman like me, is to go with a friend or to let someone know where exactly you'll be going. So usually I like to ask for the address, and I would tell either Mavis, my partner, or I would tell like my best friend Anita or someone like that, you know, just to make sure that they know where I'm going. And if I don't update for a while, right, that's where you'll find my body. Just kidding. And also you get another perspective, you know. Actually, I think this place has quite a lot of like rental apartments available, because I saw like a couple of other listings also, and they all look the same. So I think they kind of come furnished with like the cabinets and the oven stuff, you know, just kind of done by the condo developers themselves. And as you can see, it's 420 square feet. I realized like 420 square feet is actually quite a common size for a lot of one bidders in new condos. I've just come to the conclusion that it's just very very small. If you don't have a lot of things, if you are just like one person, I think that's okay. Even as a couple, the reason why this couple was gonna like leave was because the place was too small. So as you can see, they have like a cabinet on the side. I like stuff that's like neatly tucked away. So actually I was quite down for this, but they didn't have space for a shoe rack. So they were just like stuffing their shoes where like the power box is. Fridge is nicely tucked away in the cabinet. There's an oven, which is good. And in general, there's like okay amount of storage in the kitchen. But when you turn around, then you're like, that's all, that's the rest of the apartment. This sofa looks like it would be big, but actually it's just a regular like 3-seater sofa. Alright, they have a dining table, but they have to, you know, it's one of those IKEA ones that you can fold down, and so like every meal basically you have to open and close and open and close, and there was no space for like a work desk, so I was a little bummed about that. But the bathroom is very nice, nicely renovated, you know, it's like I said, a newish space, and it's pretty. And then there's also a balcony, which I like, but the balcony is very small. And oh wow, very windy. It's a very nice view, very kind of sparse and kind of chill. The thing that kind of killed me was the bedroom. If you can see here, right, this is a queen bed, and it's pushed all the way to the window. There's no space in between, and it's still kind of cutting into the door of the bathroom. There was barely any space behind the door for a wardrobe, and that was it. I have a lot of shit in my room, you know, like where's all my makeup gonna go, and you know, stuff like that. So I was like, I guess this is not for me because it's a little small. The rent was 2.4. I think it might be 2.4, but unfortunately, because it is so small and because the general area, condo itself is nice, I didn't get to see the facilities, which is another thing I guess you should do if you're looking at the condo. Also check out the facilities if you're interested, but I already knew that I wasn't interested like by the time I finished the viewing, so yeah, had to say no to that. And I think it's, you know, a good thing to do, like to learn your lessons as you go into viewing and figure out like what you want and what you don't want. And now I also know that 420 square feet cannot, bro, like I just can't. This next one is pretty interesting. This is the only HDB apartment listing viewing that I went to. A lot of the HDB like apartments for rent, they're very very old and they're not renovated, and it's a mess most of the time. So for now, like I still haven't found an HDB apartment that I like. And then this one came up and I was like, ooh. So this is actually a new BTO, I think. It's actually walkable to Red Hill, I believe, MRT. Or was it Queenstown? Don't remember what it's called. What is it called? No, I just call it Dempsey HDB. Is it Skyville? Sky Villa? Don't know. It has a really great view. Let me show you the view first. This is the view. It's very pretty. It overlooks like Dempsey and like a bunch of like the good class bungalows, which I'm like, the view is really beautiful. The wind is amazing. It's so fresh and the whole space is very nice. But this landlord, like, she has a job that takes her like basically around the world, and she's only back in Singapore like 1 to 2 to 3 weeks max out of the year. She was gonna renovate it like pretty simply and then rent it out, but she did also say like every year, you know, for 2 weeks she wants to like come back and have a place to stay, and so she would like lock away a room for like her own storage and stuff. And I kind of negotiated with her and I was like, hey, why not, if you know, when you come over and stuff, I like her as a person, she has a very cool job and she's also gay. And I was like, cool. I kind of told her that I wanted a pole room, and a pole room doesn't really need a lot of things, so I was thinking like I can just uninstall the pole when she's over like for 2 weeks out of the entire year, and then she can have that room, and then when she leaves she doesn't have much stuff. It's just basically like a bed and like, I don't know, like a dresser, push those to the sides and then have my pool room, which kind of works anyway. But you know, I can't even tell you the rent because I kept asking her like, what are you asking for rent? And she had no idea. She wasn't like financially concerned, and she just like was very easygoing. And so I was asking her like, how much are you asking for? And she was like, I guess like 2 plus. And I was like, okay, like 2.1, very very different from 2.9, or like what's your range? And then she was like, I don't know. And then I liaised mostly with her cousin, who also had an apartment upstairs. I know this is like turning into a story time, but it's a very like strange situation. Her cousin was basically like the liaison, and then it was just a little like confusing also. That's why I was like, where? Because he was installing things that she didn't know about, and then I started like offering to pay for the renovations because I wanted things a certain way. And I was asking about like white goods and like curtains, like would I have to buy my own curtains, or you guys can just like install, you know, stuff like that. This space itself, I wouldn't have minded like buying it. I think like if I were to get a BTO, like if I was 35, because I could imagine a home out of this place. Like I was like, oh, this is gonna be the dining area, like this is gonna be the living area, my pool room, our bedroom. It's a 3-room flat, so it has like 2 bedrooms and then a slightly bigger dining area but a very small kitchen. And it also had a service yard. When I looked at the listing, actually it didn't have those fans in the room, but then the cousin had already installed it, and I was like, I wanted to install a pole there, and it's gonna gather dust, and you know, it might clash with the pole and I might fall and like kick it or whatever. And then there's like, you know, 2 people that you have to separately like communicate with. And then me offering to pay for like kitchen drawers, you know, like it's not my house, like I shouldn't have to pay for these things. And I didn't want to like bulldoze over her designs or her ideas for the space and stuff like that. So I just felt like we were bending over backwards to kind of make things work. And the other thing that I really didn't like was that, okay, wait, let me show you. So apparently, right, when you get BTOs, you can kind of choose to have it like completely raw and like undone. Is it? Like the most basic, or you could have it like premium basic. So they kind of chose the premium basic, and this is what it looked like. And I wasn't attracted to it. And I want to talk about the toilet. Okay, I want to talk about the toilet. The toilet bowl. It had one of those like flush things on top, right? And I was like, what the fuck? Okay, so first of all, I can't put my nice candles on it. I know it's a water saving technique, okay? But like realistically, I'm not gonna like, when the sink is right in front of me, I'm not gonna like flush and then wash my hands and then like, you know what I mean? He kind of mentioned that this is a thing that's very handy for guys, so you can just like pee and then you wash your hands and you don't have to touch the sink. And I just wasn't into it. There was just like no way to even install that like shower area because the sink is so bulky. And there were 2 bathrooms. If it was just me staying, or if it was just me and Mavis, I don't think we'll need like 2 bathrooms, and it's just extra stuff to clean. So I was like, maybe not. Also because then I would be saying yes to a place that I haven't even seen like the final product of. I haven't seen renovations for, and I would have to like furnish the entire space on my own, and that would be nice if I knew I wanted to stay there for a long time, but I just wasn't sure. Yeah, but in terms of like the environment's pretty alright. They had like some nice like hawker centers nearby also, so I was like, yeah, it's like a pretty nice space, but just no fate, you know? And then it's like, she'll be coming over to stay for 2 weeks, and I don't mind having guests over. Like, I feel like I'm a very good like hostess and I take care of people, but it's like the landlord, you know what I mean? I've not really like met her in real life, so I don't know how she is also. What if she just like hates my guts, bro? Like, I can't live with that. So I just feel like so many variables. Nah. This is gonna be my last viewing, okay? Because I need to leave it on a cliffhanger and I need to like cleanse myself after this listing, but this one is the worst. This was in between Paya Lebar and Aljunied MRT. Paya Lebar is one of my other like places that I want to stay in. My best friends are all Easties, okay? And there are so many things there. And there's also the yakiniku like place, which I fucking love. And then, wait, what is it called? I called it the Aljunied Nightmare. Okay, we basically walked from Aljunied MRT. We were gonna walk to Paya Lebar like after that. Mavis was with me for this one also. And as we were walking to the condo is very small, by the way. It was just one block and there was no security on site. We realized that is very near the Geylang Lorongs. If I'm not wrong, we were at the butt end of like most of the Lorongs. And if you guys aren't familiar, the Lorongs, okay, not all Lorongs are like of the red light district, but that is generally where the red light district of Singapore is. We went nearer to like golden hour sunset kind of time. I noticed that the street lamps were pretty dim. If Mavis was with me all the time, yeah, okay, but like I walk noodles sometimes at midnight. I like to do that because it's quiet and nice. So I just like couldn't imagine myself being safe in that area. And I hate that this is like a really big concern that I have for all of these apartment listings, but unfortunately it is lah, you know, that's the reality. I also noticed that there was a gigantic fenced up area that they were like gonna start construction on. If anything, I feel like that's worse than having a construction that's like already midway, because they're like gonna start drilling. So yeah, I looked at it and I was like, ooh boy. Oh, it's called Sims Edge. I took a photo of it. So this was a this was a 2-bedroom place. And the reason why I was so excited to go was because I'm quite sure that this is under 2.3k. I thought it was a good deal. I was like, oh my god, a 2-bedroom for like 2.3, and it's in between like Aljunied and Paya Lebar, walkable to view. Oh my god, sign me up. There's a reason why it's so cheap. This is how the kitchen looks like, very standard. All the new condos like have, you know, cabinets, and the amount of allotted space is like kind of exactly like that. And then they had a very small like bomb shelter, which they kind of put like their luggages and stuff in. And the thing that I noticed about this place, I actually took videos because I just wanted y'all to see how bad this place was. Dude, even the agent knew that it was bad. The agent looked so apologetic, like showing me this space. I don't know, man. I don't know whether he's apologetic or he just is bad at his job. I don't know. Oh, I can't even like begin to say how like much of a nightmare this place was. So there are 2 bedrooms. There's one master bedroom. And God, when they have like 2 bedrooms and then they have like 1 bathroom, they have this thing where it's like Jack and Jill doors, one from the living area and then one from the master bedroom. It's such a waste of space because the other side could be used for storage, and for the most part a lot of them don't use both doors. This master bedroom, as you can see, it is very sparsely furnished. The wardrobe area was very, very small, to the point that they had clothes like basically hanging on a coat rack like outside. And okay, like, it doesn't help that the place is very, very messy. The bed was just kind of pushed to the side, and as I looked up, right, there's water damage on the walls. And water damage is, you want to avoid it at all costs because it can result in rotting, it can result in black mold, which is very, very hazardous and dangerous, and it's just a sign of like bad structure in general. So I really would not encourage anyone to get a space when you know that it has water damage. This Sims Edge condo is less than like 5 years old. That's what the agent said, but it looked so bad. It looked like the place was in disrepair. When we went into the lift, right, immediately bad omen already. There's like spilled like vinegar on the floor, like black vinegar. I'm like, how do you like, unless your xiao long bao like spilled or something, but it's just like black vinegar on the lift floor, like right in the middle. And all of us are like, it smelled so strongly of vinegar. And then like the agent looked so unfazed. He like, it seems like it's like a very normal occurrence. Maybe he was like trying to play it off, I don't know, but I was just like, what the fuck. And then like some of the lift buttons are like a little sticky. And then I saw the water damage and I was like very, very turned off. I have a video of the next bedroom. So the next bedroom is very, very, very small, and it could only fit a single bed, and you barely had space. You only had like a little slither to walk and get to the wardrobe. The point of me having a second bedroom was for the pole, and I just felt like I couldn't even like extend my arms from like holding the pole and not hit anything. And then the living area, like, not only was it very cluttered, it was also a situation where like I don't know what is actually the tenants and what they'll take away and stuff like that. And the only saving grace, and the reason why I was like interested, other than like the good rent and the location, was the balcony. And the place was kind of high up, so as you can tell, it's very, very pretty. But again, like, I think the tenants didn't really care for the balcony or didn't really like take care of it. And then, when I went to the bathroom, I looked up and there are like spots, feel like water damage on the ceilings of bathrooms. Like, Mavis told me this before. It's a sign of mold and it's really, really bad. And then I kind of pointed it out and I was like, okay, will you guys like get rid of the mold? And then the agent was like, yeah, we put a fresh coat of paint. And then I was like, like, putting paint on top of mold doesn't get rid of mold, dude. And it's mold in the bathroom. There are no windows. The whole place gets steamed up, and that's why there's like basically condensation on the top, because there's no ventilation and your water droplets and your steam is like condensed on the top, and that's where like rotting and molding begins. So I was so like thoroughly disgusted and repulsed by this place. I couldn't hide my like disappointment in the place, I think. This listing was so bad that after I came home, I was like, you know what, I actually love this space. Like, fuck a pool room. Like, I am good here. Like, thank you so much for the ventilation and for the lights and for the air and for the nice bathroom. And I just like didn't want to see any more listings anymore. So I ended up taking a break from looking at apartments all the way until now. Every apartment has its own story, has its own vibes, and I've been doing this for a whole solid year. Like, even though I didn't go for viewings like after this for a few months, I still was looking at apartments. I was still negotiating and looking at photos and stuff like that. So now, looking at apartments and moving forward, my budget has actually increased because I realized that if I were to keep my budget at 2.4, I highly likely wouldn't find something else bigger than this. And I want a space that I can grow into and that I can stay comfortably in for the next couple of years. So I'm also thinking of the possibility of moving in with Mavis as well. So if that is a thing in the future, I need to be able to have a space that will accommodate her things and for her to have her own space. I think that's very important. And there's also the possibility of me moving in with Anita, my best friend, because she also wants to move out, and between the both of us, I think we can get like a pretty nice like bigger space. So yeah, we're like, you know, looking at different possibilities. So in the next episode, you guys will see a shop house, a 4-bedder, and just a couple of other like fun places. We still have a couple of like 1-bedrooms. Yeah, no studios, but 1-bedroom. Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys would like more from this series, let me know. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. I make new videos every week, and don't forget to turn on your post notifications to get my videos hot off the press, and I'll see you guys next week.